Howdy, Tom here. Got a tobacco review for you today. A long overdue tobacco review. I was going to do it a while ago, but things being what they are, one thing and another. But tobacco I'm reviewing, as you'll see by the thumbnail and the title of the video. Full Virginia Flake. A very famous tobacco amongst the pipe smoking world. One that's more often than not highly praised. Sometimes it's maligned, as a lot of Sam Gawith tobaccos are, due to the usual H2O levels of the tobacco, shall we say. So, smoking it in my Rattray's candy stem meerschaum. I'm pretty sure the meerschaum itself, I'm pretty sure the bowls are turned by alternate, because they look identical to alternate pipes to me. Anyway, so the tobacco, well, as you can tell by the name, it's a Virginia Flake, and let's just say the tin art as well. Sherlock Holmes, who seems to be smoking what looks like a falcon. I don't know, might be, might not. I've never read the books, so I don't know. I believe he smoked clay pipes now. They always have him in the films with one of those calabashes, but I don't know, I think that's more of a stylistic thing. Anyway, waffle ye not. This is what the flakes look like. A lot thinner than they used to be. I remember a few years ago, the first tins I bought of this, the flakes were like big chunks and strips of tree bark. So they're a lot thinner than they used to be. And you get the usual sweet, grassy scent of Virginia. You're also not just smelling the tobacco, you're smelling the process. These are actually stoved as far as I know, which is what's giving them the dark appearance. And I'm only down to the last few flakes of this tin, but I have smoked many tins of this before and just not got around to reviewing it yet. But the best way I've found to smoke this tobacco is to let the flakes completely dry out. Like, these are like twigs, they are so dry, there's not a drop of moisture to them. But it doesn't affect the burn rate, and it doesn't affect the flavour to smoke it in this way. I've found any change to the flavour is actually for the positive. That's what I've found anyway. Pardon me. Another thing about this tobacco is it requires a gentle cadence. If you try and smoke it too fast, it's just more likely than not going to burn your tongue, or if it doesn't burn your tongue, it'll just burn off any kind of flavour. All you're going to get is hot steam, really. Well, gently. And not forgetting to retro hail. This is where you'll be rewarded. by this tobacco. Now, it's not all sunshine and roses. People often have the main criticism of this tobacco as being somewhat one-dimensional, as a lot of straight Virginias tend to be for some people. And I get that, you know, there's not a lot going on to necessarily excite you. But, and here's my counterpoint, when you're working on such a simplistic blend with such simple ingredients and simple processes to deliver something so good, and not just good, something so excellent, you've got nowhere to hide. You can't hide behind Latakia or Perique or Burley or a cherry flavouring. You've got nowhere to hide. And if what you've produced is something of high quality, which we consistently do, to me that's a good thing. To me that's a much better achievement than throwing 5-6 different tobaccos together and then making a decent melange. You know, to me that's not as impressive as working on something simple. It's a bit like the melodies of the Beatles, you know, which I'd play some for you, but there'd be adverts and copyright all over this video, and so I'm not going to do that. But if you take the Beatles as an example, very, very, very simple melodies. But when you're working on such simple constituent parts, you've got no room for error. Errors will be so visible and so noticeable, and everyone will be on it saying that's wrong. So when you're working on something simple, you've got to get it right. And when you're working on something classic, you've got to get it right. And Sammy G gets this one very, very right, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it requires a gentler cadence, it requires patience, it requires you to not rush, it requires you to appreciate the simple things a little bit more. That's not a bad thing, not in my estimation. There's a reason this tobacco's been around as long as it has. Sam and Gawith have been producing these tobaccos, not necessarily this blend, but they've been producing tobaccos for over 200 years. They know what they're doing. You can trust them. And they're still made in England, in the Lake District. Still manufactured here on old machinery. They've not sold out to McBaron. They've not sold out to any of the big names. And they're still producing high quality. So, how would I rate this blend? Well, it's got enough natural sweetness to keep me interested. It's around about mild to medium in terms of strength. It's, in my opinion, slightly better than Best Brown Flake, and I really enjoyed Best Brown Flake. Personally, I would give Full Virginia Flake a full 5 out of 5. It's one I have plenty of tins stashed away and will continue adding to it. knowing that it's only going to get better with age. Yeah, go out and get some if you can. If you're not a big fan of straight Virginias, then it's probably not going to be for you, I'll be honest. But I don't know, possibly try some anyway if you can get hold of some. Luckily in the UK there's no supply issues on this, as I know there is in the States intermittently. Comes in and it goes out, flows through the supplier's hands like water. But hey, that's what happens when people are hoarding the good stuff. But if you're in the UK, you can stock up as much as you want. Costs a bit more, but hey, that's life, isn't it? I would say if you are a Virginia fan, definitely stock up on it. If you've never tried a straight Virginia before, I wouldn't necessarily say to start with this one, just because it can be a bit of a pain in the arse the first thing when the moisture levels are through the roof and all the rest of it. But if you are well versed with some Gawith tins, you probably know your way around them by now. Of course, I would say don't let the fact that you've not tried a straight Virginia deter you. I'd say go for it. It's a good smoke, and if you're buying some and you don't like it, there's a lot of people in the States who would push the grandmother over to get hold of some, so I'm sure you won't struggle to shift it. So with that, I'm going to wish you a good evening. I'm going to relight and finish this off. So have a good one, everyone. I'll be back with more videos soon, sooner than the last intermission anyway. Hopefully get another one done this weekend if I can think of something to say. So have a good weekend, everyone. Cheers. Bye.